Fall's my favorite time of year for a couple of reasons, but I think the biggest reason is I really love to braise. I love turning cheaper cuts of meat into a long, slow simmer dish that really has a lot of flavor at the end. And today we're actually going to do a version of chicken with 40 cloves of garlic, but we're going to show you how to do it in a slow cooker so you can have a little more time during the cooking process to take care of some other things. I'm going to start. I have a whole chicken cut up here, and you can see I've got 2 legs, 2 thighs, and we've taken the 2 breasts and I've just cut them right in half, so I wound up with 8 pieces of chicken. And I've got a pan preheating on medium-high. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little oil in my pan, get that heating up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to dust my chicken with some pan-searing flour. It's a really fine flour that's got salt and pepper in it. And I'm just going to dust the outside of my chicken very lightly with this. And this is going to do a couple of different things. It's obviously going to provide a layer of protection when we hit the hot oil and give us a little bit of a crust, developing some flavor. And it's also going to help to thicken our sauce as well. So go ahead with my tongs, and I'm going to flip these pieces over. And I want to season it on the other side with our pan-searing flour as well. And this is a dish called chicken with 40 cloves of garlic, and there's a reason for that. We are actually going to add 40 whole cloves of garlic to it, but because of the long cooking time, it's really going to get very, very soft, very sweet, and very mellow. So it's not going to be a powerful garlic, but you're going to know there's some garlic in there. So we'll season the other side, and you can see this is bone-in chicken, which for a long, slow cooking process really adds a lot of flavor to the sauce as well. And season that pretty liberally with the pan-searing flour. Okay, we think our pan's hot enough. We're just going to go right in. And what we're doing here is we're searing the chicken. Even though we're going to wind up in the slow cooker, we still want to develop a little crust on the chicken for some flavor. So we are going to start it in a pan. It's a long cooking process, but it's got a little bit of work in the beginning and the rest of it's hands off. So I think it's a great recipe. And the idea here is to really let the pan do the work and allow that crust to really develop. And we just want to brown this very lightly on all sides. And there you see what we got. That's perfect what we're looking for. That sear and that crust is really going to provide some flavor to the finished dish. Get all of these flipped over. And at this point, after they're all flipped over and nicely browned, we're going to go right into our crock pot. Set all these pieces right into our slow cooker. And what I can do is I can turn this pan down to medium-low now. And if you look in the pan after I pull the chicken out, you'll see why we started it in this pan. And this is really a key point to braising, is every time you braise, you're really sort of building something. And you're building a sauce in the pan. And everything that you're adding to that pan really lends itself to the finished dish. And if you can see inside, we've got all this fond on the bottom. And fond is just caramelized protein. And we don't want to lose that flavor. We want to add that back to the crock pot. So we're going to deglaze this, and we're going to deglaze it in a couple of different ways. I've got 1 bag of already clean and cut mirepoix. And what a convenience dish, too. This chicken you can buy already cut up. All you have to do is cut the breast in half. And then we have another convenience item with the mirepoix. So it saves you a lot of chopping and slicing and dicing. So the mirepoix goes in. And then, I wasn't lying, I've got 40 whole cloves of garlic. And there's going to go in right just like that. And what we want to do is we want to allow this to caramelize as well. The steam from the water and the vegetables is going to raise that fond off the bottom and help us start to build our sauce. And we're going to cook this pretty slowly for about 10 or 12 minutes until the garlic starts to get lightly browned and the mirepoix is nice and soft. All right, so it's been about 10 or 12 minutes, and you can see that our garlic cloves are nice and lightly browned, our mirepoix is caramelized, so now we're going to go ahead and build the rest of the sauce. What I want to add now, some all-purpose flour, and it's a fair amount because we are going to be using a slow cooker, and it's not going to simmer as aggressively as it would on the stovetop, so we really want to make sure that sauce is nice and tight when it's all said and done. So the flour goes in. I'm going to give that a quick stir just to make sure that it's coating all of the vegetables. Into that, I'm going to add 2 cups of dry white wine. We always say if it's something you want to drink, it's perfect for cooking. So we'll add the dry white wine. And then I've got 1 carton of chicken stock. Just going to go ahead and add that all in there. And we want to bring that up to a simmer. And just stir that until the sauce just starts to thicken. Want to make sure that flour is mixed in very, very well. You can see it's starting to get a little bit cloudy. It means the flour is already doing its job. And don't be afraid to go ahead and scrape the bottom of the pan a little bit as you're stirring, just to make sure we get all those delicious brown bits off the bottom. And as soon as that thickens up, we're going to take all of these contents and we're going to go right over the top of our chicken in our slow cooker. And to that, at the very end, we've got some herbes de Provence, which has a little bit of lavender in it. It's got some thyme, so it's a very, very fragrant spice blend. And we're just going to go ahead and add some of that. And anytime I braise, I add a couple of bay leaves. I think because they're dry, they take a little time to release their flavor. So a slow cooker is a perfect application. So we have our herbs in there. I just want to give this a quick stir. And I'm actually going to do this one on low. So we've got about 6 or 7 hours. I'm just going to place the lid on, and I'll see you in a little bit. We'll check it out. Okay, because we cooked this on low, it actually took about 6 or 7 hours, and I just want to show you what you wind up with. You can see that our sauce is nicely reduced. The chicken is practically falling off the bone. In some cases, it will be, which is exactly what you want. There's a low, slow cooking process. We're looking for tender. First thing I want to do, though, is remove our bay leaves because they've given all they can to the dish, and they're really not going to taste good if we eat them. And now I'm going to remove the chicken from the pot before I finish the sauce. So I just want to get these pieces out here. And I'm going to set them all on a nice big platter. You know, to me, this is a perfect family-style dish. And when I say family-style, I mean you just put a big platter of it out on the table. At my house, it's going to just be a big green salad, some crusty bread, those nice, soft, sweet garlic cloves I use to spread all over the bread, use to dip up the rest of the sauce. Look at that. It's going to fall right off. That is perfectly cooked chicken. You could smell the garlic, but it's not that offensive garlic. It's so, so sweet. It's a little bit nutty from when we browned it in the pan, and it's just got a really nice perfume to it. We got our chicken out. Okay, there's still a couple of pieces in there, but that's fine. They're just the shreds. And I want to go ahead and finish up the sauce. We did season the chicken with a little pan searing flour that does have the salt and pepper, but I want to make sure that our sauce is properly seasoned. So I just want to add some salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. And at the very end, just to punch it up and make it a little bit bright, I've got some flat leaf parsley sprigs that I'm just going to throw right in there. I want to give this a quick stir. Really distribute that parsley through. Let that wilt for just a moment. Season our salt and pepper, get it mixed in there. And then I just want to go ahead and I want to ladle this all over the top of the chicken. Beautiful. A lot of extra sauce for dipping in that bread. This is a perfect braised dish for fall. What a great way to kick off the fall season. Braised chicken with 40 cloves. You can do it in your slow cooker and have the day to yourself. You got to try it at home. It's fantastic.